Hello, everyone. All right, just decided I'd start it a little early. How is this sounding? That's my question. Want to kind of get all of that out of the way. I don't do streams too often. Let's see. All right. All right. This thing is very laggy. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. We're here. We are about 20 minutes off. And let's see really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over here. So I asked everyone a question before it started. What is the next GPU that you're most excited for? And not too surprised, but I will say a little bit. A lot of you said big Navi. All right, good. Mic level's still good. A lot of you said big Navi. And to be honest, yeah, I will personally suggest it may be best to wait to see what AMD is going to be offering, although I do believe it's going to be about a month or so away. So if people have already been holding out on builds, you may just want to go for the RTX 3000 series. I will say that depending on how good the 3090 is, I don't know. I really don't think that Big Navi is going to be able to 100% beat it out. It might. It really might. But so far, we're looking at about double the performance or double the cores, which should roughly be about double the performance. Although RDNA 2 does have some pretty exciting stuff. So maybe, just maybe, Big Navi will completely crush it. Who knows? Either way, this is obviously the Nvidia event. And let's see. All right. So yeah, I thought that I would kind of go over first. Let me get rid of this thing. I thought that I would kind of go over first my thoughts, what I expect. And like I've kind of said, if you watch my videos a good bit, I've said it quite a bit that I really honestly think that the biggest thing that's going to happen today that we're going to see is a big jump in ray tracing. I genuinely don't think, we've essentially already seen from video cards hold on one second, sorry about that. We've already seen from video cards that the specs aren't too much better. We're talking, I believe it was about 20% more CUDA cores. Now, we're also hearing some things like the FP32 compute. The FP32 cores in the CUDA cores are actually doubled. So there could be a decent jump from that. So even if you do have the CUDA cores the same, from that you should be able to get a decent jump. But at the same time, it's pretty clear that they're advertising. We actually saw, I don't have it pulled up, but we actually saw that in a recent leak. I forget who it was, the company, but basically we saw, hey, oh my goodness, I completely lost my train of thought. But basically we've seen so far that oh yeah, okay, so there's a big focus on ray tracing. They're calling their next gen ray tracing. They even had it in advertisement from a third party, from a leak from a third party card. When it went over specs, one of the things it said was second gen ray tracing cores and third gen tensor cores. So I really think the big focus is going to be on all of the technology that we saw from the RTX 2000 series. And there's just going to be a big jump in that. Now that it's kind of good, but kind of not. Even though it's pretty interesting to see that, okay, we're going to see ray tracing cores, basically turning ray tracing on will have no performance dip. At least that's the big hope. That's what I'm hoping at the very best is going to happen, or at least there's very little. But the issue is that even if that is the case, let's say best case scenario, there's a little bit of a jump, but the main focus is definitely on ray tracing, and there's basically no drop in FPS. The issue is that a lot of people don't, so many games still don't support ray tracing, and a lot of people just don't care. You definitely see some pretty cool things, like from the Minecraft demo. All they did was just, well, it's actually out now, but all they did was just add ray tracing, and it looked a million times better. But at the same time, AAA games that already use some of the best tech other than ray tracing, some of the best lighting, it's good enough. And there isn't this giant difference, in my opinion, that I've seen from games that do add it. There are some really cool things, but basically it really sounds like Nvidia is going to be heavily leaning on this. And if games don't start coming out more and more with ray tracing, that's going to be a major issue. So let's see. I know that these are a little bit behind. Okay. For one, okay, so we have Big Navi, and then the second is obviously the RTX 3090. I have to admit, I'm a little bit surprised there, although at the same time, I didn't ask what you're going to be buying. I just asked what you're most excited for. But if this does translate to what you're buying, wow, Nvidia really could sell quite a bit of them. But obviously, it's been 2 years since the RTX 2000 series came out. So at the same time, people who maybe didn't upgrade during the first gen RTX may this gen. So there could be a really big jump, especially in those really expensive graphics cards. So I don't know. Someone pointed out in a recent video that the the pricing that I did doesn't perfectly translate. We had seen a couple 3090s. One was on sale or like for pre-order for $2,400, and one was $2,700 when you convert it to US dollars. And as they mentioned, and I've said it a few times in videos, it's not the best metric. It really isn't, because there's VAT depending on where it's from. You may have to take that out because it isn't included, or it is included and doesn't need to be for the US. So there's lots of different things, and obviously companies sell things for different prices for different reasons, whether it be taxes or things like that. But the simple fact is that it doesn't perfectly translate over. But at the same time, the issue is that it's still over $2,000. I'm really hoping that this is just them trying to make a ton. The website that it was on, just trying to make a ton of money off the pre-orders. A lot of times they will be way over MSRP early, just hoping that they can get a few people. So I'm hoping that's what it was. But at the same time, the 2080 Ti, you can go on Newegg right now and see it for right at $2,000. So, and that's not water cooled. So it's scary. Let's see. Hold on one second. Looks like we're 13 minutes out. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh. Yeah, it looks like Big Navi is just taking a bigger lead, which is interesting. I can definitively say that AMD is going to be tackling them price to performance at the very least. I don't know. I say definitively, but that's what they typically do, and that's probably why they're waiting to see what NVIDIA is going to release. It's kind of like what they did with their 5700 and 5700 XT, although they were going to be the ones announcing it first. Then NVIDIA randomly announced their super cards, and then AMD decided, let's lower the price. So I have a feeling that's what they're waiting on, which is great, but also somewhat scary, just because we're really hoping Big Navi is not going to be competing price to performance. Well, we want that too, but is really going to be competing at the top tier performance level. So Yes. Let's see. Okay. So we're about 12 minutes out. They have the countdown. Let me do this. Is everything still looking good? I know that this is a little off. Hopefully everything still sounds good. Everything looks good. But let's take a look. So we have it right here. 11 minutes. 11 minutes. And someone had mentioned earlier it'd be hilarious if they just did like a Rickroll, even though I know that that's old and no one really does that anymore. But can we just say if they did that, they like win the internet? I mean, at the end of the day, it would be kind of frustrating. But at the same time, as much as they've put into this, I mean, they've, you've got even EK water block designers and builders are using this countdown on their Facebook page and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's obviously meant to be a really huge thing. And if they just, the countdown ended and all of a sudden Rickroll and they're like, all right, that's it. I have to admit that would be pretty funny. But as you can see, 21 days, 21 years, which is basically since their first 21 years since their first GeForce graphics card. And join us to celebrate the biggest breakthroughs in PC gaming since 1999. And then it says, and what comes next? So obviously the first little bit, we're probably going to be hearing all about previous generation graphics cards and how Nvidia's done great things in the market. And I kind of say that sarcastically, jokingly, but at the same time, while they are really big on, not having open really anything, reminding me of Apple in a lot of ways, but at the same time, they have absolutely pushed the industry forward in many ways over the years. They have been great. They've done great jobs. So I have to say that. Oh, and also I absolutely have to give a shout out to Arthur Blaine's. Thank you so much. I don't really do streams too often, but at the same time, I've definitely never gotten anything near that. Thanks so much. And also, Quigley Poo. I can't believe I had to say that. I'm just kidding. Thanks so much, though, for that as well. Thanks to everyone, honestly, who supports the channel. Every single time that I upload a video, I don't want to get like super emotional, but I swear, every time that I upload a video, I'm just amazed. To this day, it's been years, and don't get me wrong, lately videos have been getting quite a bit more views. Really happy about that. Really thanks to everyone who supports the channel. And I don't know, just every single time I upload a video, it's just getting thousands of views. It's just like, wow. I mean, I remember the first ever video I did, it actually had to do with a 3D printer. And I remember one day, like, I went on there and it had like 10,000 views. And I was just like, what? What? Like, no way. 10,000 views? That to me was just unbelievable. And it ended up getting like 60,000. I may even have more now. But like, I remember I would just watch it like every day, which it actually took months to get to that point. But I was blown away, to be honest. So, I mean, even today, I mean, I'm still blown away at all the support, all the viewers, and just want to say thank you for that. Let's see. And thank you to Igor V as well. So I want to ask, and I'm probably going to have to wait like a minute or so before people can respond. I swear it's really, really off. But I wanted to ask, or you know what, before I do that, I actually wanted to mention that we know for a fact that I say for a fact, basically 99% sure video cards is very accurate when they call something confirmed. But basically, I wanted to mention that the one thing we don't know definitively is price. We've seen rumors. We've seen the 3090 being around $1,399, so $1,400. And the issue is that, how do I put it? Like, we really don't know. So these could end up being quite a bit cheaper. I remember there was a leaker. I think Kopite 7 Kimmy recently mentioned that these aren't going to be super expensive. So I don't know, but at the same time, they're almost definitely going to be more, which in my opinion just sucks anyway, because Turing set such a high precedent for graphics cards. I mean, I had mentioned in a recent video that I remember when the 10,000 series or the 1000 series came out, and the 1080 was like, it was like $500-$600. I remember just being like, what? For a graphics card? And I mean, obviously, you know, that's just gaming. Graphics cards have been really expensive for professional workloads and things like that. But I just remember freaking out thinking how expensive that was. And then, you know, we get up to the RTX 2000 series and we're looking at double that, $1,200, which I mean, yeah, we're, you know, 1080 versus 2080 Ti, but still $1,200. That to me just, I don't know. So anytime that I say something like, oh, it's, you know, $13.99, that's not too bad. What I'm saying is that's compared to where I thought the $2,000 price point was. So yeah, compared to $2,000, that's not bad. But at the end of the day, do I want to spend $1,400 for one component that goes in my system? No. Now, here's the thing. Nobody forces you to do that. But at the same time, the entire product stack has gone up pretty significantly with Turing. So I'm really hoping that they don't set yet another precedent here. We don't know for sure that that's what the price is going to be. But I will say that a lot of it definitely seems like it is going to be. Hopefully that makes sense. But, oh, and quick shout out, DJ McCullough. I apologize. I probably pronounced that wrong. And, okay. Slow mode. You know, I probably will see about doing that. Actually, let's see. Oh, crud. I probably shouldn't be showing this. Oops. Let's see. I really don't even, I saw the setting when I went to it. Okay, well, my apologies. Let's do this. We're only 3 minutes out. Okay. Wow. Oh, thanks so much, Arthur Blaine. Seriously, you rock. Thank you. Now, I know I got a lot of people saying the spamming, and I can't believe I really don't stream often, and this is just sad that I genuinely. Give me just 1 second. Ah. Okay. All right. Did it. We're good. Slow mode activated. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was definitely getting a little wild with all of the repeating going on. So hopefully that'll kind of slow things down. Let's see. Man, is this stream off. It's like 10 seconds off. Either way, let's go here. And let's get to the countdown. 2 minutes. And until that time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone, what are you planning to buy? This is specifically for people who are planning to buy their next gen graphics card. What are you going to get? And I'm probably going to have to wait a full minute before you actually get to see it and then respond. But let's see. Okay, lots of 3070s. Very nice. I mean, I will say that the 1070 set such an amazing precedent. Thank you again. Let's see. Who is... Oh. Thank you so much, Michael March. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Honestly, this is just wild to me. Like I said, I don't really do the streaming too often. And the fact that some of you are spending something like $50, I don't even know what to say. It's unbelievable. I guess I'll say that. Thank you so much to everyone. Seriously. Everybody. I mean, okay. Santos McGriddle is planning on getting either the 3070 or 3080. And Arthur Blaine's 2 3090s. Awesome. For sure. I do, from what we've seen from the images, they're definitely going to be able to do SLI, the 3090s. It looks like there's even a new bridge. Oh, looks like it's starting really quickly. Thanks so much. Yes, Michael March, thank you so much. You are getting the 3090. Heck yeah. Expensive, but looking interesting. Okay, hold on. Let's make sure. Okay. Here is what I need to do. Tell me if there's anything wrong with the volume. Okay, so we've got the past going on. Oh, Crisis is getting remade. Or it may already be out. All right, for anyone who thought that this wasn't going to happen, it's not the RTX 3000 line. It isn't. They like break all this video.
Welcome to my kitchen. I hope all of you are staying safe. Again. We're going to talk about an amazing GPU today. Modern GPUs are technology marvels. It is the engine of large industries from design, cloud AI, to scientific computing. But it is the gamers and their insatiable demand that is the driving force of the GPU. Pulling their GPUs to create the largest distributed computer ever. 1 million gamers united to counter-strike the COVID-19 coronavirus. The result was 2.8 exaflops. 5 times the processing power of the world's largest supercomputer to simulate the virus. Folding at home was able to simulate 100 milliseconds, a tenth of a second in the life of the coronavirus, and capture the moment it opens its mouth to infect a human cell. Scientists believe this is also its moment of weakness. Thank you all for joining this historic fight. We're going to talk about computer graphics and the work we're doing to push the boundaries. We love computer graphics and have advanced it incredibly in the time of Nvidia. As the technology advanced, the expressiveness of the medium has made graphics an invaluable tool to help us understand our world, create and explore new worlds, tell stories that inspire us. From science to industry to the arts, computer graphics has made a profound impact on the world, and for that, we are privileged to have contributed. We're going to talk about gaming and the infinite ways that gaming is expanding. GeForce PC gaming is large and thriving. Its open and rapidly advancing technology, combined with the amazing creativity of the community, makes magic. Anyone could be a broadcaster now. Add a GeForce and you have a personal broadcast station. Pros stream their practices.
Wow, 1.5
Experts stream tips
billion
and tricks.
PC gamers.
Friends stream to friends just to hang out. There are over 20 million streamers. Games have become a new art medium. In Minecraft, gamers can build their work of art. Machinima artists create cinematics made from game assets. Tens of millions are using games to express their creativity. Inside a computer simulation, any sport can become
They
esports.
should discuss pricing.
Virtual
yes.
NASCAR and F1 are already attracting top racers. Like sports, esports captures the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and the human drama of athletic competition. Esports is on its way to be the biggest sport. I have something special for all the GeForce gamers around the world. 4 gifts. I hope you like them.
Oh, 4.
And you'll find new ways to game. First,
are we going to get into it already?
big news. Fortnite is turning RTX on. Now Minecraft and Fortnite, the number 1 and number 2 most played games in the world,
I thought he meant 4
have RTX on. Fortnite will get ray trace shadows, reflections, ambient occlusion, and DLSS
cool.
2.
Well,
These effects
don't play too
look
often,
fantastic with the art style of Fortnite. I
never
can't wait to
really
see a
played,
Fortnite concert with
I played a few
RTX on.
times.
The last one with Travis Scott was watched by 28 million people. Epic made a trailer for you. Let's play it now.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
75% of GeForce gamers play esports.
And
Esports is a
DLSS,
game
okay.
of milliseconds. Reaction time is a combination of the gamer and the machine. Let me explain. This is Valorant. In this example, the opponent is traveling at 1500 pixels per second, and it's visible in this opening for only 180 milliseconds. A typical gamer has a reaction time of 150 milliseconds from
Mine's
photon
gotta
to
be
action.
350.
You can only
It's
hit
gotta
this
be.
opponent if your PC adds less than 30 milliseconds. Most gamers have latencies far greater than 30 milliseconds, many up to 100 milliseconds. Today, we're announcing a new esports technology called Nvidia Reflex. Nvidia Reflex optimizes the rendering pipeline across CPU and GPU to reduce latency by up to 50%. In September, we're releasing Reflex with our game-ready driver. Over 100 million GeForce gamers will instantly become more competitive. Valorant, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, and Destiny 2 will be the first to integrate Reflex technology.
Huh.
Esports
I'm gonna
pros
look
and
more into
enthusiasts
that.
strive for zero latency. For
That
you, we're
sounds
announcing
like
an insanely
what AMD
fast
is
and beautiful
doing,
display.
or what AMD
A
did.
360 Hz G-Sync display designed for esports. This display has a built-in precision latency analyzer. Just connect your
Oh,
mouse.
it's low.
The Nvidia
see what I
360
can
Hz
do.
G-Sync esports displays
on.
are arriving this fall from Acer, Alienware, Asus, and MSI. We've made a video comparing gaming on a 60 Hz, 144 Hz, and 360 Hz display. You can see immediately how 360 Hz display will help you target and track an opponent. For the 20 million live streamers, we have something really cool for you. NVIDIA Broadcast turns any room into a broadcast studio. NVIDIA Broadcast runs AI
know what?
algorithms
I didn't
trained by
even need to
deep
do that. I
learning
could've
on
just done it
NVIDIA's
right
DGX
here.
supercomputer, one of the most powerful in the world.
Is this better?
Effects like audio
Ooh,
noise
it may be.
virtual background effects, whether graphics or
see.
video.
I probably need to cut
and
down the
webcam
desktop
auto-framing
a little
is a
bit.
virtual camera person tracking you. These AI effects are amazing. Available for download in September.
Okay, I
and
wanted to
runs
really
on any
quickly say
RTX
that I
GPU.
actually did the
Brandon and
360
GeForce Marketing
at
will now show
CES.
you NVIDIA
It did
Broadcast.
make a
Hey everybody,
difference.
I'm Brandon, and I'm very excited.
least
today
it
to talk
definitely
about our
seemed to
NVIDIA
be.
Broadcast app. Like many of you, I've
But
been
not
home a lot more
justifiable
lately.
for the
Video
average
conferencing
consumer.
all day, and then gaming and streaming all night. And I have a very basic webcam and microphone setup. NVIDIA Broadcast makes these things supercharged with a lot of new awesome features that really bring it out using the power of AI and RTX GPUs.
I hope
the
PSUs
first one I'm gonna
cannot
talk
get more
about is noise
expensive,
removal.
please.
So I've asked my girlfriend to join me with a blow dryer here. And that distracting sound makes it very hard to understand what I'm saying. But when I turn on noise removal in NVIDIA
I haven't tried it
Broadcast,
yet, but I've seen enough.
find that
It's
it's
very
completely
cool,
gone.
I
And
will
that
say,
blow
from what
dryer's
I've
still going.
seen.
But NVIDIA Broadcast isn't just awesome audio features. There's some really exciting video features as well. Let's take a look.
Oh, it's loud.
First up, we have the ability to blur your background, which you may notice that I need because I have a very cluttered and messy room. But when I turn this background blur feature on, all of a sudden I get this really classy effect.
It actually made a difference in my gaming. The 360 hertz monitor.
Everything in between.
I mean, I did.
Or
they just had little tests set up, and I actually did get more hits. Like
now, I'm in a space station with the magic of AI.
It was a shooter, so they just had these little scenes set up where like they'd run across,
I can remove the background altogether.
I did get more hits. It did genuinely help. But is it worth it for like the average gamer? No, not at all. Like maybe if you make money doing this, yeah, it's worth it. But
now sometimes when I'm video conferencing or doing a just chatting stream, I want to zoom in to get a more personal connection with the audience. But the problem is I bounce around so much, it's easy for my head to get out of frame. With the auto frame feature, it's like having your own personal cameraman that follows you wherever you go. So, if for example, I wanted to reach over and grab my cool Valorant hat and show it to everybody, it follows me every step of the way. I just find NVIDIA Broadcast to be really exciting as both a streamer and as someone who works from home. The ability to remove distracting noise, improve your background, and keep yourself in the center of the frame are all awesome features in one app, and I just can't wait for you guys to try it.
A new form of art has emerged from gaming called machinima. Artists are using game assets to create cinematics. There's been tens of billions of views on YouTube. Most are shorts. Some are even recreating entire classic movies. It's becoming a whole new art genre. Today, I'm going to show you an app that will make these cinematics amazing. It's called Nvidia Omniverse Machinima. It's an app built on our Omniverse 3D workflow collaboration platform. Omniverse is a universal design tool asset exchange with a viewer based on photorealistic path tracing.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
The engine is designed to be physically accurate, simulating light, physics, material, and artificial intelligence. We have connectors for most third-party design tools, like 3ds Max, Maya, Photoshop, Epic Unreal, Rhino, and many more. The Machinima app brings in elements and assets from games and third-party collections like TurboSquid and lets you mix and compose them into a cinematic. Creators can use their webcam to drive our AI-based post estimator to animate characters, drive face animation AI with your voice, add high-fidelity physics like particles and fluids, make materials physically accurate, and then when done with your composition and mixing, render film quality cinematics with your RTX GPU. Nvidia Omniverse Machinima, beta in October. Sign up at nvidia.com/machinima. Let me show you a demo we created in a few days. We started with assets from Mountain Blade 2, Banner Lord. You're gonna love this.
Guys are getting better.
For 40 years, since NVIDIA researcher Turner Whitted first published his paper on ray tracing, computer science researchers have chased this dream to create super realistic virtual worlds with real-time ray tracing. NVIDIA, seeing the ultimate limits of rasterization approaching, focused intense efforts over the past 10 years to realize real-time ray tracing on a large scale. At SIGGRAPH 2 years ago, we announced the Nvidia RTX. Now 2 years later, it is clear we have reinvented computer graphics. Nvidia RTX is a full-stack invention. RTX starts with a brand new GPU architecture, but it is so much more. It includes new engine tech and a bunch of new rendering algorithms. RTX is a home run. All major 3D APIs have been extended for RTX. RTX is supported by all major 3D tools. RTX tech is incorporated into all major game engines. There are hundreds of games in development and thousands of research papers of new rendering and AI algorithms enabled by RTX. The RTX GPU has three fundamental processors. The programmable shader that we first introduced over 15 years ago, RT Core to accelerate the ray triangle and ray bounding box intersections, an AI processing pipeline called Tensor Core. Tensor Core accelerates linear algebra that is used for deep neural network processing, the foundation of modern AI. AI is the most powerful technology force of our time. Computers that learn from data and write software that no humans can. The advances are nothing short of breathtaking. Nvidia is doing groundbreaking work in this area. You might have seen our work in self-driving cars and robotics. Computer graphics and gaming will also be revolutionized by deep learning. Let me show you some recent works and the art of the possible. The first video is a generative adversarial network that has learned to synthesize virtual characters of any artistic genre, including photorealistic. Second is a neural network that animates a 3D face directly from voice.
You require more Vespine gas. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
The AI character can speak in any language, be any gender, and even rap and sing. Third is a character locomotion of infinite number of positions. Imagine negotiating arbitrary paths and obstacles. The fourth is reconstructing 3D from video. Imagine the possibilities. Record video, interact in 3D. This one is a deep learning model that learned the physics behavior of cloth animation. Finally, this deep learning model of ray tracing can predict colors of missing pixels, so that fewer rays need to be cast and fewer pixels need to be fully rendered. We can achieve orders of magnitude speedups. AI is certain to play a giant role in the future of computer graphics and gaming. The powerful Tensor Cores and RTX GPUs will let us do AI in real time.
With video to 3D, you could essentially
One of the first major AI computer graphics
get rid of
breakthroughs
green screens.
Is DLSS.
Although it would have to be perfect.
Here's the challenge. Real-time ray tracing is far more beautiful, but requires a lot more computation per pixel than rasterization. So the solution is to ray trace fewer pixels and use AI on Tensor Cores to up-res to super-res to a higher resolution and boost frame rate. DLSS took nearly 2 years of intensive research. We built a supercomputer to train a network. The DLSS model is trained on extremely high quality, 16K, offline rendered images of many kinds of content. Once trained, the model is downloaded into your driver. At runtime, DLSS 2.0 takes in low resolution, aliased image and motion vector of the current frame, and the high resolution previous frame to generate a high resolution current frame. I think DLSS is one of our biggest breakthroughs in the last 10 years. Take a look at these images of Death Stranding, the latest game by Kojima-san. DLSS is sharper than native 4K and created detail from AI that native rendering didn't even show, and the frame rate is higher. Reviewers have loved DLSS 2.0.
I'm going to say more
They say
tests
its quality
of that.
beats out native rendering and runs even faster. You can play at 4K without a performance hit. Tensor Core effectively gives RTX a 2x performance boost. Let's look at one frame trace of a game to see the
some pretty
processors of
impressive
RTX in
performance,
action.
but
Adding ray tracing to games
there's been
dramatically
issues, too.
increases the computation workload. Using shaders to do ray traversal and object intersection reduces the frame rate. We added the RT Core, which reduces shader workload by 60%. RT Core offloads the shaders by doing the ray triangle and ray bounding box intersection calculations. Using the same methodology as Microsoft Xbox, the RT Core is effectively a 34 teraflop shader, and Turing has an equivalent of 45 teraflops while ray tracing. Even with RT Core, the amount of time consumed is significant, so RT Core and shaders have to run concurrently. Even then, 20 milliseconds is only 50 frames per second, and still a step back in performance relative to previous generations. This is where the Tensor Core and DLSS come in. Rendering to a lower resolution, then using AI and super fast Tensor Core to effectively double frame rate. Now you can get ray tracing, get high resolution, and high frame rate at the same time. That's the magic of the three processors of RTX. Turing was our first generation RTX GPU,
okay.
combining
Second
ray
generation.
tracing, programmable shading, and AI. The flagship Turing had a ton of processing power, 11
Thank you,
shader
Chris
teraflops,
Johnson.
34 RT teraflops, and 89 tensor teraflops. Let me show you our new RTX GPU. Ampere is a giant leap in performance.
Whoa.
Ampere does
Sick.
2 shader calculations per clock versus 1 on Turing. 30 shader teraflops compared to 11. Ampere doubles ray triangle
Oh, that's
intersection
3
throughput.
times.
Ampere's RT core delivers 58 RT teraflops compared to Turing's 34. And Ampere's new Tensor Core automatically identifies and removes less important DNA weights.
70%.
And the new Tensor Core hardware processed the sparse network at twice the rate of Turing. 238 tensor flops compared to 89. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's true.
Nvidia's new Ampere GPU, our second generation RTX.
Yep.
28 billion transistors built on Samsung 8
Third generation
Nvidia
Tensor.
custom process. All 3 processors double rates over Turing.
Samsung.
Triple double. It connects to Micron's new G6X, the fastest memories ever made. The days of just relying on transistor performance
6X,
scaling
yep.
is over.
So
Yet
many
Ampere
things
is
were
an
right.
incredible 2 times the performance and energy efficiency of Turing. At Nvidia, we use every engineering lever to squeeze every drop of performance out of the system. From architecture, custom process design, circuit design, logic design, packaging, custom SerDes I/O, memory, power and thermal design, PCB design, software and algorithms. Thousands of engineers per generation, billions of dollars. Full stack engineering and extreme craftsmanship is the hallmark of our GPUs. Our performance, energy efficiency, and low power are all world class. And real application performance highlights Ampere's new RT core. The more ray tracing is done, the greater the Ampere speedup. Ampere RT core doubles ray intersection processing. Its ray tracing is processed concurrently with shading. And Ampere can render cinematic images with motion blur 8 times faster than Turing. Let's take a look at Ampere in action. At our kitchen GTC a few months ago, we showed Marbles, the world's first fully path-traced, photorealistic real-time graphics. It was running on our highest-end Turing Quadro RTX 8000. Turing was doing 720p, 25 frames per second. Today, we're going to run an
All about
enhanced
the ray
version
tracing
of Marbles
performance.
with even more special effects. And it is running at 1440p, 30 frames per second, over 4 times the performance. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Marbles at night.
Four times performance. I don't have a lot to say. Wow. No, we still haven't pulled off Minecraft yet. Not yet.
Marbles is entirely path traced. No rasterization, all real time. There are hundreds of area lights, including spherical area lights. There's no pre-baking, everything is dynamic.
Wow. I mean, that is impressive.
The depth of field is film quality and beautiful. Everything is dynamic. Diffuse GI, all dynamic. There are hundreds of rigid bodies, 80 million triangles. Materials are physically accurate, physics simulation and volumetric rendering in real time. DLSS 2.0 is doing the super resolution and AI denoising. Let's compare Marbles Turing and Marble's Ampere. You can see dramatic visual quality jump of Ampere. Marbles on Turing runs at 720p, 25 frames per second. Marbles in Ampere runs at 1440p,
Wow.
30 frames per second.
Yeah, I mean, that is
More than 4 times the performance.
it is a difference.
And Ampere
4
even did area
times.
lights and depth of field. A giant performance leap. Today's games are giant worlds, indoor and out, with photogrammetry, dense geometry, and lots of characters. Games are over 200 gigabytes and getting bigger. This is like 50,000 songs or 400 hours of streaming video. Games have pushed PC I/O and file systems to the breaking point. CPUs copy files from disk and decompress the game image. This is fine when the storage system was slow, 50 to 100 megabytes per second. Now with Gen 4 PCI Express and solid-state drives, PCs can transfer data at 7 gigabytes per second, 100 times faster. CPU copying data to memory and decompressing game images is now the bottleneck. Decompressing data from 100 megabytes per second hard drives takes only a few CPU cores. However, decompressing from 7 gigabytes per second SSDs on PCIe Gen 4 takes over 20 CPU cores. Today, we're announcing Nvidia RTX I/O with 3 new advances. New I/O APIs for fast loading and streaming directly from SSD to GPU memory. GPU lossless decompression. And collaboration with Microsoft on direct storage for Windows that streamlines the transfer of data from storage to GPU memory. With Nvidia RTX I/O, vast worlds will load instantly. Picking up where you left off will be instant. This is a very big deal for next generation gaming. Let me show you Ampere in action in one of the most anticipated games of 2020, CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk. This trailer is called Scenes of Cyberpunk RTX. It shows ray trace reflections, diffuse illumination, shadows, ambient occlusion, and DLSS 2.0. Enjoy.
I just want to see the game. All right. Shh, no talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new flagship GPU,
Oh,
the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3080, powered by
Oh.
Ampere, second generation RTX architecture.
but the 90. Uh-oh. All right, I do like the graphic. Oh. All the leaks were right on that. 3rd gen tensor cores. Oh, that weird PCB. Look at that board. Yep. Wow. They had to be so mad when this leaked. They had to be so mad.
The Nvidia RTX 3080. I have one right here. Let me show it to you.
Oh, back there the whole
It
time?
is beautiful. Look at this.
It's a weird
The
looking one, but it
RTX
does look pretty cool.
3080. It is wonderfully crafted. It's going to look beautiful in your PC, and it lights up. Now let me tell you
Is it
about some of
just
the other
green,
exciting
though?
technologies inside. Turing used G6, the fastest memories at that time. The industry thought that was the limit. For Ampere, we had to push through that limit. Working with Micron, we designed the world's first memories with PAM4 signaling, pulse amplitude modulation, with 4 voltage levels that encode 2 bits of data each, 0001, 1011. Each voltage step is only 250 millivolts. So in the same period of time, G6X can transmit twice as much data as G6. PAM4 is extreme signaling technology,
But
and
it's
it's
hot.
just becoming used in high-speed networking. The Ampere thermal architecture is the first ever flow-through design, working harmoniously with PC chassis cooling system, pulling in cool air from the outside, flowing through the GPU, and pushing hot air straight out the chassis. To allow room for a fan to flow air directly through the module, our engineers architected a super dense PCB design that is 50% smaller than previous, while adding the bigger Ampere GPUs, HDMI 2.1, PCI Express 4.0, and G6X. There are 2 independently controlled fans. The bracket front fan pulls cool air from the bottom and pushes the heated air out through the graphics card brackets. A backside pull-through fan passes cool air over the fins of the heat pipe and directs the hot air to the top and back of the chassis to be exhausted by the system fan. The 3080 flow-through system is 3 times quieter and keeps the GPU 20 degrees cooler than the Turing design. It can cool 90 watts more than Turing. The generational leap is ultimately
'Cause
the
it has
most
to.
important factor of new GPUs. A significant technology advance is needed to inspire content developers to create the next level of content and for the install base to upgrade. Let's see how the 3080 stacks up to previous generation architectures on the latest graphics intensive games. 3080 is faster than 2080 Ti. 3080 is twice the performance of 2080 at the
Wow.
same price.
Wow.
Ampere is the biggest generational
Is this
leap
ray
we've
tracing?
ever
What is
had.
this?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Is this with RTX though?
Nvidia GeForce RTX 3080, our new flagship GPU, powered by Ampere, our 2nd generation RTX GPU architecture.
Wow.
Incredible amounts of processing in the shader, RT ray tracing core, and tensor core for processing AI. 10 gigabytes of G6X, twice the processing power of 2080, and at the same price, starting at $699. Available September 17th. One of our most popular GPUs is the 70
There it
series.
is.
970, 1070,
Not bad.
2070 were all hugely popular.
It's still so
You're gonna
expensive
love
though.
the new RTX 3070.
But still,
Faster than the 2080
it
Ti.
didn't go up.
The Turing enthusiast GPU priced at $1,200.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, the new GeForce RTX 3070. Let me show it to you. It's a work of art.
Oh, okay.
20 shader teraflops.
We have not seen this.
40 RT teraflops. And 163 teraflops tensor core for AI processing. With 8 gigabytes of G6, RTX 3070 is faster than the $1,200 RTX 2080 Ti.
Do they mean with ray tracing?
starting at $499.
Even so,
Available in October.
that's not bad.
Every generation, we pack in our best ideas to increase performance while introducing new features that enhance image quality.
I'm impressed and surprised.
Every couple of generations, the stars align, as it did with Pascal, and we get a giant generational leap. Pascal was known as the perfect 10. Pascal was a huge success and set a very high bar. It took the super family of Turing to meaningfully exceed Pascal on game performances without ray tracing. With ray tracing turned on, Pascal, using programmable shaders to compute ray triangle intersections,
Oh, here it
fell
is.
far behind Turing's RT core. And Turing with ray tracing on reached the same performance as Pascal with ray tracing off. On a technical basis, this was a huge achievement. The images are far more beautiful, and reflection and shadow artifacts are gone. But gamers want it more. They want every generation to be more realistic and higher frame rate at the same time. So we double down on everything. Twice the shader, twice the ray tracing, and twice the tensor core. The triple double. Ampere knocks the daylights out of Pascal on ray tracing. And even with ray tracing on, crushes Pascal on frame rate. To all my Pascal gamer friends, it is safe to upgrade now. Amazing ray tracing games are coming. Activision and developer Treyarch are launching a new Call of Duty on November 13th. It's a masterpiece and it looks incredible. There are dynamic lights, ray tracing, shadows and ambient occlusion, DLSS 2.0, and Nvidia Reflex super low latency technology. The last Call of Duty sold an amazing 30 million copies. Activision put together this trailer of never before seen footage. Enjoy.
I have so much to say. Hold on, no one leave when this is over. I've got to talk. Well, when all of this is over.
Let me talk to you about one more thing. Several years ago, we started building the Titan, pushing the GPU to the absolute
3090.
limit to create the best graphics
I
card
figured
of
it was
that
the Titan
generation.
replacement.
It was built in limited quantities only through Nvidia. The distribution was limited.
But at least they did
The demand
announce it.
surprised us. Creatives were making 4K movies, rendering cinematics. Researchers built workstations for data science and AI. Bloggers built broadcast workstations.
24
Flight and
gigabytes
racing simulation fans
GDDR6X.
built sim rigs. There is clearly a need for a giant GPU that is available all over the world. So we made a giant Ampere. Ladies and gentlemen, the RTX 3090.
Nope. 3090. Some of you said that was fake.
Come here, Papa.
Oh, wow. It is
Alrighty.
gigantic, which is
3090
what
is a
we
beast.
heard.
A
It is
ferocious
huge.
GPU, a BF GPU, 36 shader teraflops, 69 RT teraflops, 285 tensor teraflops, and it comes with a massive 24 gigabytes of G6X. It comes with a
Ooh.
silencer,
Oh.
a 3-slot dual axle flow-through design, 10 times quieter, and keeps the GPU 30 degrees cooler than the Titan RTX design. But there's more.
Oh, it's expensive,
The
though.
3090 is so big that for the very first time, we can play games at 60 frames per second in 8K. This is insane. Because it's impossible for us to show you what it looks like on the stream, we invited some friends to check it out. Roll the clip.
Hi. This is Andy and this is Tim. Woo!
I've never been more excited to do anything.
Oh!
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
No way.
This is f***ing incredible, dude.
This is amazing.
Holy.
The resolution on this is silly. My God. You can see wear and tear on the treads.
Look at this.
Why is it so detailed? All right. Move fast and shoot things.
This is 8K, sir. I can see everything. Oh, I need to shoot you though.
Not a whole lot of people have seen something like this.
This is so realistic. I feel like I'm really in battle.
This is insane. Die, I want to look at the pretty
Oh,
thing.
this.
There we go. Dude,
He used to have a gaming. He was on a gaming
These are the sizzle
TV
reels that you
channel.
see.
I remember
This is
that.
basically hacks.
And then it's like, it'll never look like that. But it does.
I'm like looking across the vistas, the grand
What was his
vistas that are
name?
happening right now.
Holy sh! Look at this.
This feels like a Disneyland experience.
Not
Oh, it
him.
is so smooth. It's butter.
Oh, it's smooth as sh**, dude.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I mean, this is game changing. There's no other way to put it. My mind is blown, dude.
Wow.
It's been 20 years since the Nvidia GPU introduced programmable shading. The GPU revolutionized modern computer graphics. Developers jumped on and invented clever algorithms, like shaders that simulate realistic
Yes,
interiors,
Adam Sessler.
or post-processing
Yes.
effects for soft shadows, ambient occlusion, and reflections. Developers pushed the limits of rasterization beyond anyone's
I still love that show.
expectations. Meanwhile, Nvidia GPU processing increased a stunning 100,000-fold. Gaming became a powerful technology driver. Gamers grew to billions, and gaming pushed into all aspects of entertainment and culture. If the last 20 years was amazing,
His
the
voice
next
got
20
really soft.
will seem nothing
He's
short
being
of
serious
science
now.
fiction. Today's Ampere launch is a giant step into the future. This is our greatest generational leap ever. The second generation Nvidia RTX, fusing programmable shading, ray tracing, and artificial intelligence, gives us photorealistic graphics and the highest frame rates at the same time. Once the holy grail of computer graphics, ray tracing is now the standard. And Ampere is going to bring you joy beyond gaming. Nvidia Reflex to improve your response time. Nvidia Broadcast turns any room into a studio. And Omniverse Machinima turns you into an animated filmmaker. We are super pleased with 3070, 3080, and 3090, the first three members of the Ampere generation. You're going to feel a boost like never before. I can't wait to go forward 20 years to see what RTX started. Homes will have holodecks. We will beam ourselves through time and space, traveling at the speed of light, sending photons, not atoms. In this future, GeForce is your holodeck, your lightspeed starship, your time machine. In this future, we will look back and realize that it started here. Thank you for joining us today, and to all of our fans for celebrating the arrival of Ampere.
Okay. Okay, that is officially it. Okay. Wow. Where to begin? Okay, so exactly what I thought would happen absolutely happened. Ray tracing is the big focus here. But at the same time, okay, so there's so many things I'm trying to kind of process right now, but they announced exactly what the leaks, as so many leaks were correct, except the recent one stating that this may be 7 nanometers, not true. It looks like it is on Samsung's 8 nanometers, which is basically 10 nanometers, 10 nanometers plus, you could say. But okay, so let's start with performance. They mentioned 2 times, so that's double the performance. But from what I could tell, because when they compared it to ray tracing on versus off, they compared it to the 1080. From what I could tell, that double performance is with ray tracing and potentially with DLSS. That's the problem. They really didn't give us any of that information. But I do want to say that Nvidia isn't the only one chasing ray tracing. So is AMD. So are the consoles. So it's whether or not you care about ray tracing. I mean, if you don't, maybe the 2000 series will go down in price, and you know there's probably not a giant jump in regular FP32 compute gaming without ray tracing. From what I've seen, there's when they say 2 times, they're definitely referring to with ray tracing on, which is still really impressive because it essentially keeps the same performance of the 2000 series, maybe even a little bit more, but with ray tracing on versus the 2000 series with ray tracing off. So, I mean, that's exactly what I thought, or at least was very, very hopeful would happen, and it did. Now, the next thing, super happy about, at least for the 3080 and 3070, pricing. It's just what it was last year. Fantastic. Thank you. Still kind of thought last year was really expensive, so it's still expensive, but they could have gone up. They didn't. So thank you for that. The 3090. So basically the leaked pricing, it was off. That was like the one thing that was off. The 3080, 3070 are like $100 less than something like that, around $100 less than what we originally thought or what the leak suggested. But here's the issue. The 3090 is more. But I do like that they mentioned the I can't even think. The Titan, what it's replacing, my brain just completely went out. But the issue is that this is still GeForce. They are still trying to compare it to 3090 makes you still think it's gaming rather than having the other naming scheme. So, but it does come with 24 gigabytes, let's be honest, and that is expensive. So I mean, I'm not too unhappy about the 3090 price. That's just one of those things where it's like, if you just want the absolute best, but at the same time, the 3080 and 3070 are absolutely much better price points. I don't see it being worth at all the difference in price, but it's for those people who just say, I want the best, and that's what they buy, and they're willing to pay way more for it. So that's understandable. But yeah, the 3090, $1,500, which we thought it was $1,400, but $1,500. And then the 3080 and 3070 are the same prices as the 2000 series when they launched. So fantastic. We're looking at and then I need to look into it a little bit more, but it essentially sounds like they're doing what consoles have done to allow much, much faster load times for games, which is fantastic because that was going to be something consoles had that PCs flat couldn't. I really do want to look into this. I want to test them. I should be getting third-party cards at one third-party card, or I should be getting the 3 cards from at least one board partner. I've been trying to get in contact with my Nvidia rep. I haven't really heard anything back, but hopefully I will. Let's see. Oh, the Shroud. Wow. Nvidia had to be so angry. Had to be. Because this leaked, what was it, 1 or 2 months ago? It leaked so early, and it was such a big reveal. But there it is. So that Shroud that we saw absolutely was the final Shroud. I hope it's RGB. I will say they mentioned lighting. I didn't really see where it would be. Hopefully it's RGB. Probably not, but it does look pretty sweet. I will say. We know it has that new 12-pin connector. There's a lot of processing I need to do, but basically, I'm pretty impressed. And the fact that they didn't go up on price at all, I understand a lot of people are going to try and compare the 3090 to the 2080 Ti, but I really don't think it's a fair comparison because it is 24 gigabytes. So ultimately, $1,500 for what it's replacing is actually pretty good. But at the same time, please understand that it's still more of like a do everything card, not just for gaming, even though now they're, 3090, they're putting it as part of the gaming series. I would seriously suggest it's really just for those people who want the absolute best and are willing to pay whatever it takes. So yeah, I'm probably going to kind of cut this down quite a bit and then I'll upload it. But thanks everyone, seriously. And thank you to Deny Kess, 3090 Titan got. Yeah. I mean, you could really argue that the Titan technically got $1,000 price cut. I mean, the older Titan was so much more expensive, but at the same time, the issue is that they are still marketing. They're going to be marketing this. Excuse me. Their plan is to market this way more to gamers, and everyone understood the Titan was, supposedly for gamers and creators, developers and things like that. But it does have 24 gigabytes, which is what the other Titan had, and that's a big part of that cost. So technically, you really can argue that it's a price cut for the Titan. Just understand that there's pretty much no reason to buy that as a gamer. I mean, unless you just want the absolute best. I mean, I don't want to say that definitively, but I can pretty much guarantee you it does not have double the performance to the 3080. So double the cost, just price to performance is not there. But the 3080, 3070, keeping the same price, heavily going up in ray tracing performance, and hopefully I'll be able to get some samples so I can actually test without ray tracing. But the simple fact is that everyone is pushing this, so either it becomes a colossal failure and no developers want to do it, but it does seem like they do. So at some point, all new games may come with ray tracing, and therefore, those games, it's worth it. But at the same time, a lot of people don't see that big of a difference. So is it worth buying the 3000 series? That's up to you. If you are really excited about ray tracing, really excited about DLSS and all of that, it's very clear that this is a massive jump in performance. It really is. And I'm pretty impressed. Yes, these are going to do quite a bit more power draw, but we're going to see all of that as time goes on. Like I said, hopefully I can get some review units and then I can do all of that testing. But once again, thanks everyone for coming to the stream. I know I move my arms a lot, I flail, but thanks so much. I know I got nervous there a couple times, kind of lost my train of thought, but everyone stuck with me. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much and have a great day.